Hey, welcome back everybody. Well, we're back here on the prairie. As you've seen in the other video, I got the head all done. Got new valve seals in there. And down here I put the new head gasket on. Got these two, gotta have these two in here, guides. And then you gotta put this in here, right here, is the oil that gets pumped up. And it goes right into this little spot right here. So you got to make sure you have all those together before you jump in there and try to put the head on. And then you got to fish through here. You got to fish the timing chain and the guide. Then we'll have another guide we got to put in there too, which I can't remember. I gotta check here. I don't know if I think it might need to go in now. I'll have to check. It's this one here. This goes up to the front, and I can't remember. I think it goes in before. We need to put this in before we put the head on. So I'll do some little checking here real quick, and I'll bring you back on. Okay, here it is. Yes, it does have to go on before you put the head on. And you see an F. Let's see if I can get it close enough. You got F and you got a rear. This is where you want it for the front cylinder. This is where you want it for the rear cylinder. So this will work on either side, the front or the rear cylinder on this 650. So you got to make sure that when you slide this in here that it's sliding, you're putting it down in there. You got to make sure it hooks into here. Now it's a little difficult to see with all this on here, but you can feel it too. I can feel and know where it goes and what's in. So I'll show you how I put that in there. And it goes down in there pretty far. You got to pull this one back. And let's see here if I can get it here. There it is. Now you can't, when you lock it in, to feel it here, I don't know if you can see that or not. Let me spool you in there. Right here, pull you up. This right here, you got to pull this. Pull it back and forth. It's got to be tight in there. You shouldn't be able to move it. And once that's in there, then you know it's good and secure down in there. It's kind of hard. I can't get you down in there, but you'll feel it. When you feel it, you'll see that yes, this is locked in and it's not moving. Alright, now once that's in here, now when you got to slide the head down in there, as you can see it's got a little tight spot there, so you got to be careful to get everything in line and moving the way it is supposed to be. So it takes a little bit, but I'll show you. I'll go ahead and do it here for you and you can see how I do it. I'm going to make sure this is all clean here. There's no burrs or nothing on it before I put it in there, because all it is a thin piece of metal that is the head gasket. So it's got to be really good and straight. So let me check some few things out and I'll be back. Okay, everything looks good. Let's go ahead and start assembling this. Now, what I got to do is pull the chain off of its perch here. Really probably what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave that in there because sometimes it comes in handy to have a little wire to kind of guide it through. Now this can be tricky to get everything in here and then everything be right. Especially this front guide. See, now I'm going to bend this over, pull this out, bend this over. And your gasket here is this goes all over the place. Okay. So let's pull up a little more. I have my headlamp on, really helps to try to see how to get. There it goes. Hey, that worked pretty good, considerably, considering how much of a pain it generally is. Oh, now my head gasket there is trying to get off kilter. of course. Oh, now it's trying to fall down in there. So try to get this back in its hole. Come on. Come on. Yeah, it's not wanting to work right. It likes to do that. He's a little thin. There it is. Can you believe it? Went back in line. It's good. Now, try to pull this up. Okay, everything's working good. It's gonna tear a little bit. There we go. Push it down on there because you gotta. Let me see. Stick this wire into there. That'll help hold my chain from falling down. Now what you want to do is kind of push it down if you can. I ain't wanting to do it right. Do something nice and easy here. Oh, let me see. Where'd my hammer go? Just need to tap it down. That's so it don't come off. Let me find my hammer and I'll bring you back. Alright, here I got the hammer. So just gently, see how it's closing the gap? There you go. I got it in there. Now you're going to get your head gaskets. Your head bolts. Now one thing you got to check, with those head bolts you should have a washer. See, these three don't have washers. That's because they got pulled off. So I got to make sure you find all your washers. And when you pull them off, you got to make sure you keep them. There they are. There I go. I got all my washers now. So make sure your washers are on there. On all your bolts. Got 4 of them there. And one's up. It's like on the 4 corners, just about is where they're at. You can. If you look at them before you put them in there, it kind of helps you to know where they're at. I know where they're at because I've done these a number of times. So I know about the area. So put them in there. And that is, I think, that was a size 14. It's a size 14. Now I put them all down by finger. You know, run them in. You can run them in if you can get to it. See, you can't get to nothing here because it's in such tight quarters. That's why I like working with this. The back one is easier to work with because it's right here and you can see everything. This front one's a little harder to deal with. But now if you remember on the 750 brute force I have, that I haven't worked on for a while, I showed you, I don't know if you've seen it, you'll probably see it in some of my other videos. I replaced the back cylinder because it dropped the valve and really did some damage. And I replaced that whole head in that one, and cylinder, new piston, and all the good stuff. But now it's powered, but the front cylinder is not pushing its weight. It's not doing anything. So I'll be having a video bringing it back so we can check out the front cylinder and see. So I'll bring you back on. This will be too long, so I'll bring you back on when I get the torquing those down. All right, we got her in there. This is the final torque. Got that one. That one. Double checking it. Now what you do, you go around first with 18 foot-pounds of torque. You run around. Then you come back with 36, 37 pounds of torque all the way around. And that should get you right there. That should take care of it. All right. Well, then, now, just start putting everything back together. My biggest thing that I got to get together is to get the cam in here, set in the right area where I had it before. So that's what I'm going to work on now. I'm going to get everything ready and I'll bring you back up. All right, here we go. Now what I did is I put some oil on those journals where the cam's going, and I put some on this. And if you see the mark right there, I put that on there to show me where it was at, because I couldn't run it to top dead center, which I would rather prefer doing, and I couldn't do that because of the junk was in the way. Remember that that valve piece was in the way, stopping that piston. So I just stopped the piston where it was at, and hopefully this will bring me back to where I want to be. Now, of course, first of all, when I get it all back together, I will double check it with the original timing marks to, you know, make for sure that it is where I want it to be. Okay, something's, there it is. Like I didn't want to get in there where I wanted it to go. Okay, pull it all through here. Okay, get the chain up on there. Spread my light out here a little more. Alright, so what I got is, I got to turn this, and I had that little mark was right there. Now I had a mark on the chain, but it's since then came off. So there was some on it, so I got to at least show, got to see where it was, the area close to where it was. There was some left on it, but now I'm messing with it. It don't take long for that paint. And what I use is on that paint, it's just some old nail polish my wife didn't want, and it works out great for doing timing marks and stuff like that. I keep it out here and I use it for timing marks. All right, well, as I see it, to me, that looks like it's in the right spot. Yep, so that looks like we got her on the mark in the right spot. So now to double check that, I'm going to put some more oil on here. Now you got to watch not putting too much oil on it, because you got to put silicone around here to seal this top. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to check and see where was it? Run the timing to make sure all the timing is right here. So I'll bring you back on. I get the figure out how I was going to do this. All right. Well, here I put some silicone on this, and but before I did that, I ran it to top dead center. I put this thing into the piston as it come up. I got to the top dead. That way, you can hear that, they're all both loose. So that's the way you want them, to be able to put that on there, because you put that head on there, and if it's not, the top part on that head, then it's going to be fighting you, because it's going to be trying to push valves in. And that don't work very good. Do that. So, now one thing I forgot, which might be a little difficult here, is sometimes you get these long ones in. There's this plastic piece here that I'm probably going to have to move out of the way to be able to get these long ones in, because they're just in the way. That's like I said, this front one's just it's a character to deal with. So I'll work with that, and then I'll bring you back on. I'm going to put all these bolts in there, which is pretty explanatory. You know, the ones with the clean heads like this, you know that they'll go in here. because they're inside away from all the junk. So I'll get a little farther, bring you on. All right, here we are back. I got the head on there. I took the starter off before because it was locked up. I thought it might have been figure something out. I got the pipe all put in there. I got the cap put on that. I gotta get that cap on there. Like I said, I got the starter back on there. Now the way I did that on the exhaust is loosen this up and just tap this with the hammer, which pushed it far enough because I still had one stud in there. I couldn't get the stud out. There you go. So that's how I got that up in there, and it worked great. So now I'm at, let's see, I need to put the other caps on. These caps on here, that cap on there. The valve seemed about right, so we're going to go with that, what we have now. So I'll get the caps back on here. And I'm probably done for the day. So when I bring you back onto the next video, we'll be showing, put the carburetors on. I need to check those too to make sure they're not nasty. And we'll see if she's going to fire for the first time. We'll get her fired up and see what else she's going to run. So this one's long enough, so we'll stop this one here. One thing I need to do before I forget is put the cap in here, because that can be easily forgotten, and I need to put oil in it. So I'll get all that and I'll put it all on there. I'll bring you back on for the first start. So hey, have a good one, and look for the number 3. I think it's number 3. Yeah, number 3 video coming on here on the Kawasaki Prairie 650. That dropped the valve. We're getting the head back on, get her back running again, and see how good it is. So hey, take care, guys. Push the guys and girls. Push the button to get notifications. And hey, everyone, have a good one. Take care.